Welcome to this edition of First Take. I already told you Cam Newton's in the house. I already told you Ryan Clark is in the house, all right? So let's get right to it because we got some football stuff to get to. Make no mistake about it, all right? For most of Thursday night football, Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins kept pace with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. But in the closing minutes with the chance to tie the game, Tua threw a costly interception, ending Miami's hopes of securing their first win of the season. The turnover set up a Buffalo field goal to seal the 31-21 Bills victory. Here's Tua and Coach Mike McDaniel on their loss post-game.
I thought I was in rhythm in timing of the play. Seeing the flat defender go over the top of Jalen. Jalen's turning around. I think that was a really good play by the defender. And, you know, had some color in my face trying to maneuver the throw as well. 10 out of 10 times, if we're looking at that same thing, I think I'd still try to work that timing of hitting that spot, and I think the linebacker made a great play on that.
We came here to win, and I refuse to take moral victories as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. It wasn't good enough, so that's where I'm at.
Let's go to Cam Newton first. What should we be saying about Tua after last night's loss?
Disappointed. I'm disappointed. I think, you know, as I'm watching this game, there were signs of, you know, he was in the rhythm. But this is the frustrating reality that we are faced with, not just as fans, but as people who observe this game. Observe this game. Come on, beat him up, word. Yep. Tua Tagovailoa is making more than Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Jaden Daniels. Am I pocket watching? No. I'm putting things into perspective here. Mm-hmm. What Biggie say? More money, more problems. Well, in this case, it should be more money, more expectations. When I see Tua Tagovailoa over this year alone, I've heard him more than I ever have. That's not to say you can't talk. Right. I like quiet Tua, Alabama Tua, chip on the shoulder Tua. Not, is somebody going to come in and watch film? Hey, let's see what this is. Hey, I was this and I was that. Taking certain things. Man, bro, what you're being paid, what you're asked to do, what you have the capability of from one quarterback to the other, I look at a situation as like, bro, come on, dog. Especially when you got a Ferrari and a Lamborghini and other amenities that some quarterbacks wish they had.
So. Well, the problem is this. Tua Tagovailoa needs too much help.
Yeah.
When you throw the football 34 times and you only amass 146 yards because you average 4.3 yards a throw, you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we can't ask you to go above and beyond the X's and O's with your legs because you're fragile. And this isn't a pile on to a Tagovailoa session. This is what we're looking at. This is who we see weekly. It's going to take Mike McDaniel to call this elaborate game, be creative, get the football out of his hands, throw the football behind the line of scrimmage. There was a time in the game yesterday he wasn't averaging 1 yard per throw. And then you go to the other side of the ball, and you're seeing Josh Allen go above and beyond what Joe Brady calls every time it's needed to win the football game. Those are the people you're playing. And then when you get to the end of this game, and Tua's superpower, right? The thing Tua does well is anticipate. Well, if anticipation is what you do, you have to anticipate Terrell Bernard breaking down on the hook, because when you see the flat defender go over, you understand what's coming next because you're bringing the rest of the constitution, the rest of the linebacker crew, the rest of the underneath coverage to you. And my problem with him now is not that he's talking. My problem with him now is that he's explaining. See, Cam Newton, if he made a mistake, he wasn't explaining the mistake. It was either I did it,
or I didn't.
I got to be better, or I didn't. And that's my issue with him right now.
So with that being said, does that justify, fellas, when we see the frustration emanating from some of the Miami Dolphins, particularly somebody like Tyreek Hill, leading up into last night's game and stuff like that, based on what y'all just explained, does that justify what we've seen from Tyreek Hill in terms of his frustration and the desire to get out of Miami?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that's the case, because there was some reckless play by a teammate in certain things, but it's certain ways that you have to handle it, right? you don't bring the public into the house, right? That's just family business. I think what we've been able to look at in Miami is like, are we watching, the Miami Dolphins, or are we watching reality TV? And it's like, it's one thing after the other, and certain things are bleeding over into each other. And I misspoke, and I appreciate you for saying that, RC. It's not necessarily how Tua is talking, because dare I say that? Let me check myself with that. It is him explaining. But we're not used to seeing that dynamic. I look at, Josh Allen in this type of manner, and I'm blown away because you can't name me, not probably 3 receivers. Where college did they go to? You see what I'm saying? Sean McDermott has been able to really curate something that suits his strengths. The same thing has been the situation with Mike McDaniel in the Dolphins. It's like, we know who and what Tua is and what he is not. And you do have to go over and beyond and have these glitch plays and formations, a lot of, ships passing in the dark type of plays, but it's just smash, bro. It's just spot. And when you look at it, you have all these weapons and you're doing more or you're doing less with more.
Yeah, and I think the bigger problem with Tyreek, and Tyreek confronted me about this in New Orleans at the EA event. He said, they sent me a clip of you, and I messed with Chan, I messed with Fred, but I don't mess with you. And I said, well, tell me what happened. He said, well, you said this about me. I said, yes, because as a leader, when you go into the locker room after the game and say you don't want to be somewhere, you separate yourself from the team, you're telling them it's you, it's not me. I say, I have a problem with that. And he's like, you know what? I respect that. Yeah. So what Tyreek did or what Tyreek has said is not justified by Tua's play.
Right.
There's a way that you're supposed to handle that, especially if you have some other things that people can use against you as character flaws. You want to operate professionally as far as your career is concerned in the highest of manner.
One of the things I want to throw by both of y'all, and I'm going to get to a story, I'm going to get to a question about the Dolphins in a second, but just thinking about this based off of what y'all are talking about. It has me hearkening to Mike McDaniel as the coach for Tua. When Brian Flores was there, Tua would later say, once Brian Flores departed, he wasn't feeling that man. That man, didn't coach him the right way, didn't speak to him the right way, didn't make him feel good, didn't make him feel comfortable. Well, Mike McDaniel comes along, got him feeling all cuddly inside. They go to back-to-back playoffs. It's a wild card spot. We ain't better to play. Damn right. That's how he came off. Feeling all cuddly inside and stuff like that. Next thing you know, they've missed the playoffs over the last 2 years, and Mike McDaniel's a miniature dude, doesn't look like that quote-unquote football coach that you're looking at, the Bill Parcells, the Belichicks of the world and all that stuff. He looks a little bit different, but a boy genius. Once upon a time, they were talking about him that way. How are we to look at him now as the coach coaching Tua?
He still is just as creative. Yeah. Okay. Like, if you watch what Mike McDaniel does is he understands, like Cam says, it does have to be smoke and mirrors. Because once the ball is snapped, there's only so many things that you could do. Cam talked about spot route. You can run spot, right? You can run sail. You can run China 7. You can run seam. You can get in condensed splits, and you can go deep crosser and post. But when the ball snapped, I get to figure all that out as it happens because I've seen it my whole life defensively. So he's trying to confuse you because he doesn't have the talent at the quarterback position. Yeah. Now, your demeanor is your demeanor, and as a coach, you have to be authentic.
That's right.
Right?
True.
Now,
True.
But you know this, too. You don't coach everybody the same way.
That's true.
Mike Tomlin told us all the time, I will treat everybody fair, but I will not treat everybody the same. There are certain things that different players can handle. I remember, I'm trying to do this quick. Sure. Coach Saban cussed me out during bowl week my junior year. I had made every check the entire season, the most vocal person, communicated the most. Cusses me out because I was late on a check. I take my pads off, I'm leaving. I was like, nah, coach. He calls me in the office the next day. He said, listen, I know you know it. He said, and I know you can handle it. When I tell you something, I jump on you, you can bounce back and play. Not everybody can do that. He said, but if the freshman sees me talking to you, if the sophomore who's trying to get on the field sees me talking to you, now they understand the level of excellence I demand. And I think Mike McDaniel has to figure out a way to do that. Coach Tua one way, but also in keeping that locker room together, you got to speak to Tyreek Hill a different way.
Respond to what else he said.
But does he, though? Like, and the reason why I say that is, bro, when you get into the NFL or any type of professional dynamic, right? You go from, yes, sir, Coach Saban, to, in the NFL, Coach Nick Saban is Nick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mike McDaniel.
Which is why he had to leave.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the situation. It's like, it's like Bill Belichick, as great as he was, more people called him Bill than Mr. or Coach. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And when you get to that level of professionalism, it's if you understand, you understand. And you can't get so caught up into what's being happening more so than what the vision is that I'm here for. And I'm supposed to win football games, right? And I can't get distracted or be pandering to certain things. Like, now, I do agree with the narrative that you cannot coach Tyreek Hill any different, or you should coach him different than a Tua Tagovailoa. But at the same time, we're here to win football games.
Yeah.
And as a player, as a human, I have to be able to sift through and be able to say, hey, this is what I'm going for. If I feel disrespected, I'm going to come talk to you. If I don't, then boom, let's rock.
Well, you talk about winning. They haven't done that against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills 10-0 against the Miami Dolphins at home under Sean McDermott, including the playoffs. Josh Allen in his career versus the Dolphins 14-2. With that being said, last question before we move on. I think the Dolphins season is over. What do y'all think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like this is the team that actually gets worse as it gets colder.
Yes.
And they're already 0-3. And there is no changing who they are. Anthony Weaver is not going to change who this team is on defense because you don't have the people to change it. You were bringing in defensive backs and corners throughout the entire training camp trying to find a combination that works. Tua Tagovailoa isn't all of a sudden going to get a stronger arm. When your quarterback has to tell your best receiver, who is still one of the most talented receivers in this league, sometimes on the deep ball, you might have to stop.
Oh, no,
Yes.
no.
Wow. That's a nightmare. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that.
But this is the thing,
It doesn't
too.
get any worse than that.
And I go back to how much you're getting paid, right? Because Tyreek Hill, on the field, off the field, we judge him by what he does on the field. What he does off the field, that's his personal business.
That's right.
You're talking about the most talented. Tyreek Hill is still the most dangerous receiver
Sensational.
in the NFL. And we're having issues, and we're having to throw out routes, and we have to throw.
Stop right there, because in light of, and I was getting ready to move on to subject, but I can't avoid this. In light of what y'all are saying, Tyreek Hill has obviously had some issues. We don't need to get into all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're the Kansas City Chiefs,
I'm getting them.
do you get them?
I
do you get
have
them?
to.
I'm just saying because you got people. But I'm saying you got people that'll sit up there and say because of those off-field issues, don't bring them. But I say bring them.
Choose why you was with us. Did we?
He's had them issues his whole life.
His whole life.
Okay.
His whole life. His whole life.
He's had them
We
issues
turning
his
up
whole
in
life.
Miami for the night. He goes to Miami. And now you're dealing with a different batch.
Got you.
Than Kansas City. Hello.
I got you.
But the other part is this, though, right? You have to look at your locker room as a whole. What do you have to give up for Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
Right? They're not just going to give Tyreek Hill to you. Are they going to ask for Xavier Worthy? Right? Are they going to ask for Rashee Rice?
So answer the question, RC. Do you give up one of those boots for
Absolutely
Tyreek
not.
Hill?
Absolutely not.
Neither?
Absolutely not.
Neither one of them?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
They're younger, and right now, they're easier to deal with. Even with what Rashee Rice has going on in his life, what he's dealing with, right? That's a young man that now we can work with because we can continue to groom him. We can continue to put the right people around him. I don't give up those two players for Tyreek Hill.
I'm going to move on by making this last statement. When I analyze certain things, I'm thinking about you as a young talent. Could you be what this brother is and is going to be for years to come? I got to ask for something like that. I love Xavier Worthy, and he's special. Rashee Rice is ball, too.
Tyreek Hill is a better receiver than both of them, and it would change who Patrick Mahomes is now.
Okay. And I'll say this real quick.
Okay.
I think when you're talking about this type of situation, the common denominator is this. Tyreek Hill will do any and everything that he could never do with Tua Tagovailoa. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes here.
That's right.
When Patrick Mahomes say, hey, bro, chill out, it's chill the hell out.
Right.
With Tua, it's like, man, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
And that's the common denominator.
Yeah, I think the other part is this, though, bro. Like, our level of professionalism, our level of accountability is on us.
Right.
Right? And the thing that Cam mentioned earlier, he said, it's not Coach Saban anymore. It's Nick. You grow to that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
I got